Welcome back, SoulStirred listeners. Today we are here with Mohan Ranga Rao. Mohan is a businessman and writer. He is the author of two books, the most recent being Myopia, a father's journey into love, loss, and sight beyond vision. Mohan is also the founder of Amopia. Welcome, Mohan.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you for having me with you here.
Mohan, we're so excited to have you today and to share you and your story and your wisdom with our SoulStirred audience. Just begin by telling them a little bit about who you are and where your story begins. Introduce yourself to the SoulStirred land.
Sure. Thank you, Kathy. Like you said, my name is Mohan Ranga Rao. I was born in 1958 in a city called Mysore in the southern part of India in a large joint Hindu family. I come from it's in India. There's many castes. I come from the Brahmin class. We were a big family. My father, I am the ninth child. My father and the first child was is my eldest sister. Is 22 years older than me. So
Wow.
totally nine. I am the youngest kid of the family, and by the time we were 10. Then we became 16. Then we became 22. Now we are 68. The whole extended family. So I have been in a large family all my life, and I got married in 1988, and I entered the family business. I come from a business where we make incense sticks. Incense is big business in India. I
Cool.
come from a family of the largest incense manufacturer in India, and but I chose my own path to diversify to other areas, and I started in my business in foods, in pharmaceuticals, in perfumes, and then 1988 I got married. So I was a kind of a globetrotter, busy chasing money, busy chasing power, and arrogant to the core, having expensive dinners in great restaurants and things like that. And I got married to a simple girl from Bangalore. And then exactly a year later, I was holding in my hand a 4-day-old baby. Discovered was blind. The first person I ever met, blind person that I ever met in my life, happened to me, my 4-day-old daughter. So that completely destroyed everything that I held about myself as once what I held as true. The things that I held were most dear became no longer dear. So it was a complete shift in my life. And then it also turned out that she couldn't speak because she had scattered intelligence, cognitively speaking. So we discovered that she was speechless when she was two, and then she died of cancer when she was 8.5.
Oh.
And it was also another shock because we discovered only 3.5 months before she was gone that she had stage 4 cancer. Because she was such a healthy, beautiful girl, she never had fever, never had a running nose, extremely healthy. It was the most terrible period of my life of 3.5 years. I fell into depression, deep depression. My wife was strong. I started my antidepressant, joined, of which I'm a trustee now, Maharshi Meditation Center in Mysore, Transcendental Meditation. You know TM? It's a simple way of learning meditation, and I have been meditating since 26 years now. I have never stopped, and I want to show to the world that instead of telling the people there are all kinds of teachers and gurus and Deepak Chopras and Robin Sharmas who have never seen suffering or grief in their life, but they will go on ranting about the greatness of Vedic wisdom and preach the world about what to do. But for a guy who has gone kind these kinds of things, I had my business upheavals too. I wanted to share my story, like why these things happen and how they are sacred.
I want to help us understand that further. No parent should ever have to outlive their child. Of course, you were devastated by grief. I can't even imagine how you get your breath back after that unimaginable loss. And we know that you've now written books that say things like how to find your sight even without vision. Connect that up for us and for our listeners. How did you and maybe God, find your way from devastating grief to I'm happy today.
Many things happened. The one remarkable thing that happened to me that completely changed my perspective, educated holy man who also happened to be my teacher in engineering, me aside, he said, Mohan, do you know why Yogita stayed only for 8.5 years? We have what is called as a karmic debt because of the
Yeah,
samsara. So until
yeah.
the karmic debt is completely cleared, we keep on taking birth. So here Yogita had completely gotten over a karmic debt, except a tiny little bit part. So to get over the tiny part, she would stay just for 8.5 years, and we also believe that we select the soul selects whom we are going to be child to. The parents we choose who we will be. So she chose you, and then for 8.5 years she came like the ILS angel to transform you, your family, and the society. And she finished her karmic debt, and she is God. So we Hindus, when children die, we keep their portraits in the puja room, in the prayer room, because they're close to God. They're as good as God. So I am certain now that she is not reborn. It's called Jivan Mukta, which means that's the last life. No more rebirth.
It's like you're saying you, from the messages you got from that teacher, it
Hmm.
invited you to flip the perspective on its head. Like
Yes, one of the
instead of
things.
pointing your focus towards the loss of your daughter, how grateful one might be that you got to be her parent for 8.5 years
Yes.
and that you got to be chosen to be her dad and to love her through her time in
Hmm.
this layer of consciousness.
Exactly. Exactly.
Wow, that's really beautiful.
Hmm.
Yeah. Sounds like she was a teacher in many ways because you said you held her at 4 days old and she was the first blind person you ever knew, and that you shifted your values then. And then again, I'm sure there were other times in her life as you discovered more about her and why she was here. And then after she was gone, why she had been here. So I'm wondering if you could go back to your values and talk about how your values did shift because of her.
See, my values was completely, totally materialistic.
Mm.
So in the office, I would hate incompetency. I was a leader who was extremely demanding and self-righteous, taking everything that I had for granted, the wealth, the education, the money. I was a good student, and I took my education for granted, my wealth for granted, my health for granted, everything. And the first biggest lesson that I learned was that I first should be grateful to God that I have all the organs intact.
Mm.
How many of us say a gratitude prayer? Out of a million people, there are about 10,000 people who do not have one or the other organ. Now, you know how it feels like not to see, or not to smell, or not to hear, or not to speak. So it's tough when you don't have one of the senses, and God has been so kind to us. The universe has been so kind to us. So I first said a great prayer of gratitude for sight. Number one, I realized that what a lucky man I was. That is the first lesson I learned. At that time, the transformation was not like a metamorphosis. No, it was I was angry, I was bitter, I was jealous. I wished that after 3 4 months, I wished that all the other children in the world were born blind, because here I was like I had not done any fault. So then I said it has to be me, because Mamta is so pristine and clear. It is something that I did in my past for which there is a divine retribution. So there was self blame, there was self pity, there was guilt, there was anger, there was bitterness. So when you're being tested, or when you're going hardship, you cannot be generous with your thoughts. That's the way the mind plays.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's very, very tough. It's easy for a 67-year-old Mohan to tell somebody and pat him on the back at 39-year-old, to look, been there, done that, hang in there, this too shall pass. But it's easier said than done,
Oh, yeah.
because it's that's why I call it myopia. You are myopic because you simply cannot see. You are groping in the dark. Like I recently was telling somebody, you're groping in the dark. The house is full of lights. There's one room in which the light is within you, and you're
Yeah.
groping in the dark for the light switch, cursing everything, cursing the darkness. It's very easy to say, don't curse the darkness, light a candle. You don't have a matchstick, you don't have a candle. Little realizing the candle is within you. Okay, but this we all realize only retrospectively. That's the critical part that the world needs to know. Why that suffering has a purpose and why it is sacred. So it cannot be sudden, but if people digest that, they embrace that like pain is something that is natural, that is a sensation. And
Yeah.
tears are natural, it's instinctive. Screaming is instinctive, but suffering, getting angry, hating yourself, hating the dentist, blaming everything else, that is suffering. So suffering is more a reaction. But unfortunately, in the English dictionary, there is no equivalent for the word dukkha. We don't have suffering in Sanskrit. We don't have word equivalent to suffering.
Really?
In the way they talk as if suffering has nothing to do with you, as if it is preordained and it is thrust upon you. No, suffering is something that is internalized, how you react. So even amongst these hardships, when you are undergoing hell, identify one tiny, weeny bit of you that is God sent and hang on to that. That's called hope. That's called light. That's called your inner light. And hold on to that. Like you are in a quicksand and you don't see any twigs or branches around. Just hang on to the nearest leaf and then you can pull yourself out instead of just giving up and sinking.
That little bit of hope in the middle of your sacred suffering, how did it show up for you?
We were very happy. For the first 2 years, we were fantastically happy. It was only when we went out in the society, saw other children, or when people gave very pitiful glances, asked some stupid questions that what is wrong with that girl? Is she like that since birth? Then only would feel miserable and bad. Because Yogita, one good thing was since she was born blind, she didn't know what she was missing. She was the happiest person in the house. The last thing we saw was her blindness. It never. It's only when we went out did we notice that. To answer your question, there is how do you find that leaf? You will if you have to hang on to something and hang in there, and the universe will show you the way. Universe will show you there. And even if you don't find a leaf or a twig in the quicksand, it is on the way. It's on its way. So hang in there. But like I said, it's difficult when they're undergoing because they are myopic. It's kind of a preparedness that you need to have when you're happy. It is not something that you deal with when you're undergoing hardship or suffering. So it's about time the world started shifting and accepting suffering and be prepared for it.
This is you explaining that suffering is sacred. If
Mm-hmm.
you can get with the sacredness of this
Mm-hmm.
uncomfortable part of the human experience. Yeah.
Absolutely right. Right.
Mohan,
Bang
you are
on.
very wise, and you have shown up here today right on time for me in my story. I feel like you are a divine gift. Thank you
Well,
for being
no,
with
no,
us. So tell our listeners about your book, including me, so that I can pick it up and read it and tell me what I'm going to get out of it.
well, the first thing I need to tell you, everybody asked me, why didn't you tell me before, Mohan? Why didn't you warn me to buy a box of Kleenex?
Have your Kleenex and the book.
This is something that is extremely, extremely raw to the core. Uh, if you could use the word spiritual nakedness, being naked, I have been completely be naked with my feelings. I have not labeled them as weak or strong, or vulnerabilities or anything. I have been completely be honest and open about what I felt. So you can
Yeah.
feel it when you read the book and then see for yourself step by step what I went through, all the 8.5 years that I spent with Yogita. And so I want the world not for a couple of reasons. Number one, the biggest lesson that people need to take is like I told you repeatedly that gratitude and gratitude not in the sense of just saying a gratitude prayer before lunch for the food that the God gave. So be grateful that you can experience the world in its beauty, in its splendor. Life
Yeah.
is a fantastic opportunity. You are lucky to be born.
I know you said you've been doing transcendental meditation for 26 years. Has that helped you to really understand the two different things, the flip side of everything, like pain and joy at the same time? Or What has helped you?
that I've been having, that perspective shift started happening when I turned, I would say 53, 54. That was about 20 years ago, slowly. So I have so many things like half an hour spent on journaling, mental journaling. There are two types of journaling. One surfacey, peripheral, rationalizing, justifying because of the past and telling this is why it happened to me, and being bold to the honest to the core, being bold with oneself. You be bold with yourself and write down every bad behavior that you have and everything that you have, and dig
Mm-hmm.
in yourself, and then write all the
Mm-hmm.
things that you need to do to become a better person tomorrow within you,
Mm-hmm.
instead of writing it out. And then half
Mm-hmm.
an hour of solitude, music, some kind of a physical activity. Ultimately, the lifestyle decides your peace of
Mm-hmm.
mind and your well-being. And your
Yeah.
lifestyle has to be, and the lifestyle also includes mind, not just a
Yeah.
physical lifestyle. And
Yeah.
here he's made yoga into a physical thing
Mm-hmm.
more than a spiritual thing in
Yeah.
Right.
the US. So I, in
Mm-hmm.
fact, wrote a blog recently about it. So to be very, if you focus on your physical health and physical well-being, spend some time in solitude, do mental
Yeah.
journaling, honest to the core mental journaling. Don't be a prisoner of your past.
Mhm. You repeat the lesson
Yeah.
until you learn it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and you get to be the author of your story.
Be the change you want to see in the world. You change for whatever happens. Uh-huh.
Mhm.
There's empathy here for the pain of bad things happen to people. And even parents screw it up sometimes, even when they love their kids a lot. And we give that grace. And what you create from that as an adult is up to you.
Yeah.
Ultimately, you
Mhm.
are the creator of your life. You are the author of your life.
So many things I've learned after coming to the US. So many things
Mm-hmm.
I have seen. The one thing that I need the world to understand is gratitude is something that is not just expressed openly, but something that you feel from inside.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mhm.
there is gratitude here, but there is, I do not know whether it comes from the heart or the soul. So instead of just expressing a thank you, mean it from the bottom of your heart. Just don't shut the door to the Uber driver and say thank you. Thank you with all your heart, from the bottom of your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for reaching me to my destination so safely. Thank you for the smooth ride, for the good
Mm-hmm.
music, the good smell in the car, whatever. So the
Mm-hmm.
gratitude is not a mere expression. Or when you sit
Yeah.
in the table and say your prayers, make
Mm-hmm.
sure that it comes from the heart and
Mm-hmm.
not just from the lips. That is one thing, the importance of gratitude. And
Mm-hmm.
second thing that I want to tell is the most important thing, that don't pity anybody.
Mhm.
Okay, you feel sorry for people who with special needs. When you pity them, you put yourself in a higher platform, as if you are the privileged, and it's like patronizing somebody. So
Yep.
if you were to meet any person with disabilities, completely disregard the disability. Who are
Just
you to
like your
judge and
daughter,
pity
the
them?
happiest person in the house.
And of course,
Such wisdom.
important thing, read my book.
Show us the cover. Lift up, lift myopia, a father's journey by Mohan Ranga Rao.
We will put all of the information about where people can find your book and your organization in the show notes. As we get to the end, we are going to ask you our final question, which is, what are you grateful for?
I'm grateful for everything. Being healthy, having all my organs intact. At 67, I'm able to walk. I'm able to talk, meet wonderful people like you, sit in front of you.
Thank you for sharing with us today. We have loved our time with you.
Thank you. So did I, Emily.
Welcome, lovely listeners, to SoulStirred, stories of growth and the human experience. I'm Emily Garcia.
And I'm Kasey Clark.
We will be your guides on this journey. We are so glad you are here.
Each week, we'll come together, sometimes with other incredible thinkers, creators, and adventurers, to generously share stories of self-discovery, recovery, triumph, and what it means to live a life on purpose.
No matter where you are in your own journey, connection is here for you at SoulStirred.
Settle in, take a deep breath in, and let's inspire each other.
Welcome to SoulStirred.
SoulStirred listeners, thank you so much for joining us today as we bring you stories of growth in the human experience. We appreciate you, and we have a request for you. If you will, take 30 seconds to do these 3 things for us. 1, follow or subscribe to SoulStirred Podcast. This makes sure you never miss an episode and helps us to make sure you never miss an episode. Head over to your preferred platform, click the SoulStirred Podcast show page, and click the plus sign or the follow button. Second, we'd love it if you could give us a 5-star rating while you're there. Finally, choose your favorite episode and share it with a friend.
We are so grateful to all of our listeners for your continued support helping SoulStirred grow and ultimately inspire others through authentic connection. Don't hesitate to reach out with ideas, stories, or questions. We are always eager to hear from you. Our email and social links are found in every episode's show notes. Until next time, keep stirring your soul and embracing your journey.
Take good care of yourselves and of each other. Bye-bye.